Is the ever-elusive Johnny without the H.
What kind of decks are we seeing in this?
Oh, we got some pretty diverse matchup here. Double Graveyard out of Jordan. We got the Golem Graveyard as one deck, and Lava Hound Graveyard as the other one. However, TopNotch, this deck, you ready for it? xbow. It's back.
Okay.
TopNotch, top forward actually at the King's Cup, member of Reddit Alpha, so definitely a big Siege fanatic. I'm sorry, this is his other deck. He has a lot of duplicate cards there. He's running xbow, but this list is actually possibly the weirdest, most creative list we're going to see tonight.
Really?
It is a Prince, Hog Rider, Barbarian Hut deck. You know that thing we've seen so much of?
Every day.
All day.
The meta.
I imagine that he's going to use the Barbarian Hut to counter incoming tanks, and then uses the rotation of Prince and Hog Rider to punish people and keep those decks really on the defense.
So this is the deck we're seeing right now?
Right.
So Rainey, for people who are just newer to this game, explain the xbow. We've seen it a lot in the beginning. We haven't seen it a lot lately.
The xbow is a building that you can place that has extremely long range, does tiny bits of damage, but shoots incredibly fast. One of the strongest things about the xbow is once it locks onto the tower, in a matter of seconds, it will shred that tower's health down to very, very low from the safety of your own side of the map, so it can really control how you defend it and make sure that it can get its damage off.
And sure enough, the Barb Hut's really doing its job. They got a whole squad of Barbs already spawned, and now he just needs to do anything possible to hold hold off the graveyard.
No!
Boom! Just like the Ice Golem.
Ice Golem does some work, yeah.
That'll do it.
He'll take a bit of damage on the tower, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's not unhappy with that push, especially that, considering that he's not really behind an elixir at all. Like, it's not like he did the damage but then fell super far behind or anything.
Huh.
It's kind of the same thing as when we saw a lot of giant poison pushes back in August. Even if the giant didn't make it to the tower, it's really just a poison, and you were pretty happy with the poison doing damage.
Musketeer locked on and got a few shots. It was just great. The thing I don't really like about this combination here, actually, that Hog Log saves the day there, but is that he's playing Barb Hut first and then playing the Hog Rider, which isn't taking advantage as much of the opportunity presented by the Golem being played. If you drop Hog Rider first, the Hog Rider is running when he really only has 2 elixir to defend with, whereas if you take a few seconds and play the Barb Hut first,
There's Prince. Prince is out.
Graveyard gets shut down, and maybe a log to accompany this Hog Rider, and the timing is pretty good. Still gonna get a swing? No.
The Mega Minion placement is just so good.
Ooh, the Prince charges up and takes a lot of health off that Ice Golem.
Princes!
There's a second Prince, but still, the Princes just don't seem like they're getting their value.
Now, is that a 6 Spin Doctors reference, Christian?
Nope.
All right, I'll pack it up.
I know exactly.
All right.
No, nope.
That's right, Christian is 5.
No idea. I can't play this tournament.
It was a pop culture, it was a hit song in 1992.
Now, if you are a Prince charging and you get logged, charges reset, right?
Correct.
All right.
The log knocks you back, stops the Prince charge. That's actually one of the reasons why Double Prince has really gone out of popularity. Mega Minion is just the card to answer it, and of course Log lets you stop those pushes in a way that used to not really have that kind of answer.
Here comes the Graveyard. Log coming through as well, and again, the Barbarian Hut, as demonstrated before, is just such a good defense against golems. And the Graveyard so far have been very well shut down by TopNotch. Been very wary about positioning his archers in the back and making sure he has the cards in hand to stop the Graveyard. And so we're coming up to what I would feel to be a stalemate.
Pretty much. How mad is Jordan right now that his deck doesn't have lightning in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the Graveyard hasn't proven to be that effective, but God, he wishes he could lightning that Barb Hut off the planet.
All right, well, we'll see. We have 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in overtime. If this goes to a draw, we have rules for the draw. After they redo the match, it's then whoever, if it draws again, whoever has the lowest HP on a single tower will take it. But still a minute 38, anything can happen. We have seen crazy.
Good knockback. He's getting a little bit of damage on the left side, but it's just not, you know what I mean? Like, you know that the Graveyard Golem push at any moment could completely end your entire tower, so you have to defend it. Yet those Hog Riders are only getting about 1 swing per push. And then for 6 elixir, that's really not worth it.
And it seems that every time that, TopNotch gets some damage in the top left, Jordan takes some damage in the top or bottom right. And that back and forth.
Whoa,
this might be actually good, though.
2?
Oh, wow. Fireball. Now, wait, now it's the spell cycle range.
Yes, but again, can you afford to spend 4 elixir?
Right.
Now, I think he's great to be playing the Prince here. Prince isn't going to die to the bowler shot. That's a very far back Graveyard. So he's really got to drop stuff quickly to defend it.
Ooh, the zap too. Might hold it up just long enough. The archers are coming through. The log is trying to eliminate it. It's going to be a race. There's no direct damage spell on Jordan's side, and that might be his undoing in this.
He's got it because the
extended
golem can't get there fast enough. The golem in graveyard can't actually kill him quick enough, right?
There it is.
He just had to cycle
Fireball.
back.
Wow. It was just like, all right, who's going to pull it
Skeletons
out?
are still coming out of the ground.
Top-notch fireball and for the win. Pick it up, game 1. In our second round of 8 here, Coronation number 13. We're almost done, guys. 1 week left.
So crazy.
Barb huts are undefeated so far.
Yeah, do you think like answers are going to start being built into decks because of Barb Hut?
Maybe that's what the poison was there for. Now, granted, it didn't really line up right, but poison would have been good at fighting both the barbarians and, of course, the hut as well, slowing the spawn speed, killing the barbs that come out, and damaging the building.
You said lightning would have probably been better there.
Yeah. Lightning, yeah, lightning's more expensive, but it's also going to do a significantly larger amount. The nice thing... Oh, sorry, poison doesn't actually slow the spawn speed anymore.
Right,
It's slow.
He's doing dots.
Oh, shucks.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Shucks. So, all right, one thing that I like about that, having Prince and Hog Rider, Tombstone is so good against both of them, right? But, one or the other. But having both, how did he still manage to play defensively pretty well?
I'm actually surprised that he was always having Tombstone and Cycle there, given that the rest of his cards cost 8 and 5 and, whatever. He was playing expensive cards, yet always seemed to have up a Tombstone. I was really impressed. Jordan could have won that game in
Yeah.
It's only when the games are that close. There's always a few things that have been played differently. The other player could have won.
Just in a sweep. All right. Well, right now we're going into game number 2. Top-notch, 1 game away from moving on to the semifinals. Take it. Oh, Jordan. Wow. Whoa. Fireball.
Ice Spirit's super happy.
He's getting the reason I was doing that because now we're in the.
Super happy.
There it is.
What a jump!
Jordan knows now that he's running an Expo deck, so you might be seeing some odd plays early on.
Oh.
That plays are being made specifically because he knows that it's an Expo deck and you don't want to leave yourself too vulnerable.
Ooh, the old Ice Golem Graveyard, and this is probably the fastest that Graveyard can get. Maybe if you use Miner instead, but the fact that Ice Golem only costs 2 is kind of the slimmest way you can try or make a good attempt at having Graveyard be effective, but gets shut down pretty easily still, and TopNotch, I think, is really winning off the back of great Graveyard defense.
Wow, he's got it on the tower!
Goodbye.
With the thanks!
He's like, thank you.
Wow, Ice Golem.
So,
Nice.
there it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't played Expo or seen it before, that is what it can do when it sees a tower.
Yeah.
Look at and go, and go, and go, and go.
And that tower's done
go.
for, yeah.
Nice.
Maybe he survives?
No! Oh, was it the final
The
shot?
final shot.
It just goes, explodes, and then done.
The Steven Seagal right there, just with my dying breath.
Expo MVP right there. Jordan now, a tower down, a minute and 30 left. What do you do? What do you do?
You're not out of it yet, right? You're running a Golem deck against an Expo deck.
And we were about to go into double elixir time, too.
Yes.
That is unfortunate that I guess he either didn't have the golem in hand, it might have been too deep into his deck, or didn't have the elixir at the time, because, that Expo
Might
caught you
have-
off guard.
Might have been the consequence of playing Ice Golem Graveyard. 2 times already today, we've seen Graveyard stab people in the back because it costs so much.
Right. Good log there. If he would have accidentally knocked
it out.
it would have reset it on its
I
own,
was
so
wondering
he
about that.
waited just long enough to make that work. Uh-oh.
Ooh, here comes the Graveyard drop.
Uh-oh, he just played an Expo. Oh, he was able to get the minions out, but with the 6 elixir investment into an Expo, that could have betrayed him.
Will the Expo turn around?
Yes, it would, but you see how bad Expo is at fighting tombstones. You want to take your chances against Graveyard with it?
There's just so many units in front, and again the Expo locks onto the tower.
Double Mega Minion.
It's worth mentioning that the Baby Dragon Lightning variants are much better against Expo, because of course Lightning can shoot it as well as Baby Dragon up in the air can start splashing on it and the other troops around it. Everyone kind of forgot about Expo. They sort of just began to ignore it and started playing these golem decks that were built to beat other tank decks, to beat other big slow decks, and that's a perfect opportunity for Expo to come back. Graveyard's not good against Expo. Some of these cards in the deck are not that strong against Expo, and a really strong siege player like that can take advantage of it.
Well, there it is, top-notch 2-0ing Jordan, as we now move on to our 3rd game. Congratulations. 2 semifinalists are in, 2 to go.
Do people still need to be prepared to defend against the Expo?
Always should. The thing that was weird there is that he did have cards for it. He had Golem, right?
Right.
But for whatever reason, didn't have it early, was cycling around, let himself get caught with too low of an elixir pool when Expo came down. And also, no towers. I mean, he had the tombstone, but one of the best things you can do against an Expo is just drop an Inferno tower at the river that locks on and kills it. This deck doesn't have that. So he's out. Jordan, double graveyard. Lava Hound did not see play at all.
Oh, yeah.
Too bad.
All right, well, let's go and take a look at a replay for that. We got the spell cycle for the win.
This is so insane. I mean, I just feel like the meta has just turned so interesting to me that spells have just become so important, but it's not even in a sense of spell cycling being a thing, right? So one could argue that during Giant Poison, when people were playing Bull or Rocket's Poison, spells were important in the sense that you build a spell cycle deck and that would be very successful. These days, it feels like spells are really, really important, but in beatdown decks rather than in siege type decks. And
this log comes in, log clears out so many hit points off of all the skeletons. When you have something that shoots single target like an Expo, having splash damage is so important because swarms otherwise are, oh god, I gotta wear through each of them.
Sure.
You get so much damage. I mean, the log does 200 some odd damage, but multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeletons, 2 archers, and an ice golem, how much damage are you actually taking away from your Expo that actually needs to cut through now?
Yeah, and Expo is 6, right?
Yep.
Yes, you play it. You can have a log in your hand. You can have a fireball in your hands. You have ways to deal with AoE. Nice. Again, we talked about the cool thing about the show is the meta shift that happened. So we started first night of this Coronation series, Coronation number 1.
Everywhere.
All Expos.
All over the
Slowly
place.
fading out. I wonder if we're going to start seeing
Now,
them back in.
tomorrow, oh great, they're going to be all
We'll see.
Expos again.
All Expos again. No? You don't want that?
the meta is a cycle.
It's a circle.
Circle of
Are you
life.
sure it's not a triangle?
It's a triangle.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a bow-shaped thing because we've got another Expo in the next matchup.
Oh, all
There we
right.
go.
Well, let's pull the bracket here as again we